We're now recording.
Okay. Go ahead, Kieran. This is your show.
Excellent. Well, everybody, my name's Kieran Snaith. I work at WeLink. WeLink is a location-based social media monitoring company. And what we bring to the table that's different is that we monitor social media based on location. This is actually how Jam and I have came to know one another, is through this company. And we've worked very closely together for the last 4 to 5 months. And Jam's an all-around social media expert and engagement expert, so she's the perfect person to host this show with. So I'll kind of turn it over to you and let you introduce yourself.
Thanks, Karen. Okay. Hi, guys. Thanks for joining. For those who are in the room, my name is Jam, obviously. The name is such. I am actually in Auckland, New Zealand, so I'm not in the States, which is interesting, really. And what I do, my day job pretty much is managing a little social media agency here in Auckland. And I do consultancy for small businesses and training as well. So I'm actually very, very proud to co-host with, and I don't know which one is, if that's one or that's one, right, with Karen over here. Yeah. So interesting topic today, guys, girls, which is all about the secrets to social media listening or monitoring. Some of you might think it's the same, but we love the word listening more, I would think, at least personally I do. And of course, how that relates to engagements as well.
Of course.
All right. Well, what we'll do is while people are starting to come in, and I think we do have another guest that's coming in, Melissa. So we'll be waiting for her, but we should get started because I think we both have a long list of secrets, so to speak, based on our experience, right, that we'd like to share to the group.
Of course. Yeah. Do you have any kind of secrets you want to start with? I know I have a short list here. I've got about 6 that we could bring up during our time. Maybe do you want to hold off for a few more minutes before we dive into those, or what do you think?
We can probably start because since we're already recording, why not? And then we'll, by the way, for the guys who are in here, please feel free. I think we'll keep the seats open, right, Karen? So that if you feel like jumping in, please do. This is what Blab is all about. It's not passive. It's not TV wherein you just sit on your couch and listen. If you want to ask any questions, if you're new to Blab, it's /Q and then your question, and that should actually appear towards the left side of the interface or whatsoever. That's cool. Great. One secret I would start with is, which is pretty, I guess, the obvious one, which is identifying certain trends. Do you agree, disagree?
I agree. I think that trends are everything, right? You have to understand. My big thing that I try and tell people these days is like, look, people just want to they want to quickly understand it and they want to just take action on it right there, develop a strategy and start right away. But the biggest thing is look, we need to stand back for a second. We have to understand the trends. We have to understand what the norm is on the social channel and what people are doing there. So, I think it's extremely important that you first understand what's happening, take a look at the data and just take a look at it from a bird's eye view and say, what is happening here before you start.
Exactly. And when you say trends, maybe I could make it a little bit more specific. Say, for example, based on my experience, using, of course, WeLink as a tool and other tools as well, like Hootsuite, for example, is I would be able to find out social networks that my customers, clients are actually using. Okay. So, for example, there is a university here and they all thought that everything should be, they should be monitoring Facebook, and they created a Facebook page and stuff. And it seems that it isn't working for them. Okay. And then, so because of social media monitoring, so in terms of trends, we found out that it's actually Instagram. So so that was a surprise for them, and oh, cool. Gonice is actually going to hello. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Gonice.
Hi, how are you?
I can only can you hear him, Karen?
Can't hear.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now we have you.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
There you go. I was wondering, I was like, oh, we need to see your beautiful face there.
And I think I chimed in actually in error, but I'm going to stay on.
Excellent. Good.
Awesome. So just to continue, so that example is, so they realize, oh, okay, we're focusing our energies on Facebook, but because of social media listening or monitoring, they now are moving their campaigns and they're starting to communicate over Instagram. And that's one, secret. That's actually a little success story on my end. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, interesting. Yeah. I mean, I think that you have to discover your trends to know what's even going to work, right? Like, everybody wants to just kind of like, oh, well, you can't sit there and you can't say, well, we know it's Facebook because we just know that, right? Well, how are you proving that? What data do you have from today, yesterday, last week to say that your following is actually on this channel? Like, let's prove this out. We have to get the right solution in place. We have to look at this at a holistic level, and then we can say, where is your following, right?
Exactly. And hey, welcome guys, LB Makeup Design. Hi there. And I'm trying, see, the problem with Blab is I have to really click on it if to just to see, Liliana, there you go, to see the name.
Right.
Glenise, what are your thoughts on, do you have a secret to share with us, or maybe you have a question?
I probably would have a question, because dealing with social media, what I'm finding is that I think when you reach a certain age point, I'm not seeing enough of Instagram that relates to, say, baby boomer generation. And there are plenty of baby boomers out there that use Instagram, but I'm not seeing a lot of coverage that will be pertinent to their lifestyle. So how can you really speak to an audience of baby boomers when it comes to Instagram?
Karen, it's a go ahead, but I do have some. Yep.
That's a good question. Why don't you go ahead and I'll bounce off of you, Jam. You're the engagement specialist here. I think you'll be able to answer that question a little bit better here.
Yep. Okay. So baby boomers. So for example, and I'm trying to just make sure that I'm thinking of the right generation here. So with Instagram, what has worked for baby boomers, at least, is in retail. Because they're purchasing, they are what's the word I'm looking for, Karen? Decision makers, right?
Influencers.
Yeah. They have more purchasing power. That's what I'm about to say. Yeah. Purchasing power. So when it comes to Instagram, what has been used and what has been successful, based on my experience, is around retail. So say if I had a, let's say a shoe store. Okay, it's one of my clients, a shoe store here and stuff. And though the clients who are buying the shoes, maybe a portion of it may actually be kids or, the younger generation, but who actually purchases those shoes and all, it's really the mothers. So it's called Pure Dance. So it's a local dancing shoes store. And they used to do it on Facebook and moved to Instagram because we were doing some monitoring as well. And again, a success story is now there's more engagement on Instagram. So retail is one perfect example. I hope I answered that question, Glenise.
You did. Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot. I'm going to bounce off because I've got another appointment. Thanks.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining in.
Okay.
Awesome. Liliana, you need to look at analytics. Yep, that's great. And Liliana is good to Kim Garst. She is the Instagram, one of the Instagram top Instagram experts, I would think. And yeah, she can answer a lot of questions on that. Cool. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that.
Never heard of her. So is she on Blab, or like what's the best way to she's on Blab?
She's on Blab. She has a lot of followers, and she has, so I'm following her as well. It's just a matter of timing for me to join in. Oh, she's also on Periscope. Okay.
I'll make sure that I follow her.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm thinking too with this Instagram, Facebook thing that we're talking about here with the baby boomers, like I'm very firm and I believe this very strongly that, Instagram is for the younger generation. It's from 15 years old to 30, right? My parents are on, just a little bit of background, like I'm in my mid 20s. So my parents are on Facebook, my aunt's on Facebook. Like those are the active Facebook users. Like my friends now, we don't use it anymore whatsoever. We're barely using this thing. Instagram is where you're going to find a lot of our activity, but then you've got this new underdog that's coming up, being Snapchat. Snapchat is consuming most of our time. That is how all of us are consuming content on a daily basis. So yeah.
No, totally agree. Totally agree. Just going back to my example, yes, the engagement, you don't expect the mothers to be engaging in Instagram, but because the kids, the daughters and stuff who love these ballet shoes and they're all engaging and they love the pictures and the photos and stuff. And they go, mom, look. And that's when they now influence, obviously, when I was mentioning the baby boomers, which converts to sales. Anyway, but that was it. Snapchat.
Not into Snapchat yet. Vine is cool. But do you think that, because I feel like Vine has like lost its fire. Like it was huge like a year or two ago and we were all on it. Now like all these Vine stars that have become famous from Vine, like they're sharing their content on Instagram or Snapchat more than they are Vine. So I would kind of ask you that, like, do you think Vine is dying a little bit? The active user count is depleting.
Yep. Honestly, I don't have a lot of experience on Vine. I mean, I've tried it when it started. It was kind of difficult. I think it was because, how many seconds was it for a video? I think it was less than
7. I know that it was less than 6 seconds. Yeah, 6 seconds.
Thank you. Awesome. Hey, I think it's Jenny who's joining. I'm not sure. Hello. And Adam. Right. Okay. So let's, so 6 seconds. Jenny, by the way, is just one of the, I joined her blog and she's actually a coach. So she's awesome, by the way, in her own expertise and stuff. So nice seeing you on the other side of, on the other side of the thing. Okay. So I've given one of my secrets. So what's your secret to social media monitoring or engagement? Okay.
Well, you took one of mine there because you've talked about how we uncovered the trends and that's kind of my neck of the woods. So what I think I'm going to have to focus on, and should we talk about influencers again and influencer discovery and leveraging that?
Yep. You can definitely.
Guys, my tip is it's going to be finding and leveraging social media influencers and their following, right? And how they're relevant to your business. And I think that brands are doing this well right now, but it can be done better. Like Jam, some of the tools that we have access to, right? Being WeLink, it is just extremely easy to figure out who is most relevant to your business. And how it's been done in the past in social media is by measuring keywords, right? Very simply, you throw up a keyword filter in your whatever software you're using. You're saying, hey, Starbucks is going to be my example. Hey, Starbucks, I'm going to monitor this for today. Then who has the highest following that mentioned this keyword during this time period? That's great, but not everybody that's a huge fan of Starbucks or is an influencer in that area is mentioning the keyword. So I believe that also, I know now I'm going to start bringing in like location-based monitoring. I think that location-based monitoring is huge because these people that frequent your businesses, they're not sitting like somebody that frequents Starbucks every day. They're not saying the word Starbucks on their social channel every day, but they might be posting from that location all the time. So this is where like a location-based social media monitoring solution can help you discover these brand ambassadors, discover these influencers, and this is just that's kind of my tip, right? Is using the best solutions to help you people that are going to make that Juliana, I've just let you in. I'd love to have a you.
Oh, I didn't know. 1 second. I don't think I have a microphone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can.
I'm walking my dog. Hey, come here. And he's like going different directions. So go ahead. I interrupt you.
So
this is awesome. Yep.
One of the most important things is to get the correct solution and discover those influences, and then from there, it's going to all rely on effective. I'm getting an echo.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Is it from me because I'm outside? Maybe I should like get off.
I can. What I'll do is I'll mute you while I'm talking.
Oh, it's your echo.
So it's all about having the right solution in place, discover those influencers, and then from there, it's going to go back to Jam, and it's going to be like, let's develop this engagement strategy. How can we effectively engage with these individuals to then leverage that following? So that's going to be one of my tips.
Exactly. Yep. And before we unmute Liliana, sorry, Liliana, just to add to that, I mean, I work with, I'm part of an NZ Bloggers Network here, by the way, so I work with blogger newbies and stuff, but obviously when you do blogger outreach, you've got some small businesses say, hey, I need help, I need to know who blog, who are the bloggers that should be talking about us or whatever it is, right? And this is actually a good tool to use because we do our own research and see, okay, is it blogger 1, 2, and 3? We thought she was really influential, but apparently not. She wasn't perfect because, well, not perfect, but she wasn't the right match. That's right. Words to use, a right match for a client. So with the tool and social media monitoring is we would know a little bit about the profile and even the fact that we know where they're at, where are they tagging people, I mean, locations, etc. Maybe it's a restaurant. So it's actually perfect to have that tool and that intelligence sort of or data to know and then recommend the top probably 3 or 5 bloggers or influencers which matches the business. So Lily, I think we should unmute
Liliana.
No, but I don't want to, because of the background noise. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, it's probably not the best idea, to be honest. I could listen and let you guys talk. Because I remember seeing someone getting into a blog and there was so much background noise. It annoyed me and I got off of it. So I don't want to do that to your viewers.
Not a problem. I have a question.
Next time I'll join it when I'm back in the house or in the office.
Before you go.
Yes.
I'm going to throw you on now just so I don't hear myself back. But I see in your name right here you have makeup design, right? So I think that some of the most interesting businesses are people like Jaclyn Hill or these influencers in makeup that are all about social media, right? They're doing it on YouTube tutorials. And my sister is huge into these things, just an avid follower. But you yourself, are you doing things with social media on makeup design? And how could you use social media engagement or influencers to benefit?
That's a question for me. Well, so I'm not your typical Instagram YouTuber makeup artist, right? So it's like, I understand there's a big trend. Everybody calls themselves makeup artists these days, and it's passionate about it. What I do, it's so different. I go on Meerkat, I go on Periscope, and recently on Blab. And I am an entrepreneur, so I want to help. Those girls are so amazing and passionate about makeup and going from Instagram to actually make a living, not just having pictures. How are they going to make a career? How are they going to pursue their dreams into getting to work for a magazine or runway or fashion week? I came here 10 years ago and I did it all by myself. And I started using social media, I would say Facebook like everybody, maybe 7 years ago. And Instagram 4 years ago.
Okay.
But what is there so good if you have 1 million followers or 3,000 followers that they're not bringing you revenue? You're just spending money buying makeup, doing your makeup, making YouTube videos. You make a very little income from that. But I've learned and I've been coached by different people. And my focus is getting the right audience on my Instagram or on my Facebook page, on my Periscope. I'm interviewing designers I work with, key fashion shows, Fashion Week. It's not an easy journey, and it's just makeup artist position now. It's taken very lightly. So I want to help and share my story through live streaming, and then here on Blab, communicate and collaborate with people. Kind of being transparent and let them know who I am and how I got here. Because I have an accent. I'm from Europe. I grew up there. I came here with $20 in my pocket. And I have my own home and I'm 30.
Wow.
All right, that's it.
So you're a
That's, I don't know.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for Liliana. Liliana, join in later when you get home.
Yes, because the sound of the background. I mean, I don't know if you could turn around the camera on Blab, but like I'm on a very busy street and there's lots of cars.
I've never used.
It was nice meeting you. I'm gonna keep listening to the conversation and we'll continue another time. Excellent. Or later if you guys go on.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. It was nice meeting you. And I saw that you know about 1 second. Hootsuite?
Yep.
Hootsuite is one of them, yes.
Right. I definitely want to learn more about that because my friend Fanzo, iSocialFans, had been advised me to like use it and I haven't got into it. So maybe we'll talk about that.
Sounds good. I need to follow you.
Yeah, I'll definitely follow you guys. And I'll be watching when I'm walking my dog to the water, going to the marina here. I moved in I live in New York. Leave.
Excellent.
Okay. Well, thanks, Liliana. And
Okay.
Well, thanks, Liliana. Yep.
All right, bye.
Okay. All right. Okay, cool. Awesome. And yeah, thanks, Jenny. This is the first time I've actually had someone join in. I've never used Blab on the phone. So, well, at least I could probably, I don't know if we can like Periscope, if you can switch the camera. Anyway, influencers and ambassadors. Any other secret that you'd like to share? So we're on our third, right?
Oh, passive. Well, I mean, like one of the most basic ones I feel, and it is going to be like sharing at the right times, right? And this is like back to, this is social media 101, right? Understand your channel, understand your audience, and like, if it, Facebook versus Twitter versus LinkedIn, when is the best time to post? I've got some notes that I made for this call. We did some research like, a year or so back, and we determined the best time to post on each social channel. If I could share my screen, I would, but I can kind of roll over those now. Don't mind me reading off my external monitor. But I think that like this is extremely important. So Facebook, like the best time to post for engagement and overall reach is going to be from 1 to 4 p.m.
Your time.
That's my time, right? So, but that's universal. That's just saying that this time in the afternoon, anywhere in the world is where you're going to have the most active users and engagement count. So Facebook is going to be 1 to 4 p.m. Twitter is going to be 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. LinkedIn is the most interesting because you've got a window in the evening and then a window in the morning. And the window in the morning is 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. So you've got smaller windows, but you've got two of them. And then Google Plus, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And then Pinterest is 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. or 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. So Pinterest is like your person that's lying in bed and in the darkness, scrolling through stuff and pinning. But, it's just interesting to see how each channel differs and the people that are on there, they're spending their time differently on each channel.
Because Jenny was asking, is it Eastern, but you're Pacific, right?
I'm located in just shy of San Francisco in the Silicon Valley, San Jose area. So I am in the Pacific time zone.
So, yeah. So, and I guess to your point, I mean, again, monitoring or listening, and that's what I've been using. Doing, I should say, not with WeLink, but with Hootsuite, interestingly enough, is in time, I would actually have my own, or I would know when the best time to post is. So obviously I do auto scheduling and stuff, so it's easier. So I spend like an hour, 30 minutes to an hour every morning just looking at news and stuff. And then I just schedule them based on the time that is best to post. At least this is on Twitter. And there is a lot of, not necessarily engagement, to be honest, on Twitter, but more of, followers increases. Right. And, favorites or hearts now. I don't know if Twitter has changed the star to the hearts, and a lot of people are complaining. I don't know why. It doesn't really matter, I guess. Just didn't understand why it changed. But yeah, so that's the secret of actually finding the right time to post on social media, social media listening and stuff is actually good. Yeah.
Well, absolutely.
So I'm just going to pause for a bit. And just for those who are on the chat, please join in if you've got any questions. If you're new to Blab, just type in /Q, and then it's supposed to appear on the left side of our screen so that we can answer them as well. Okay, next secret. Good night, Liliana. And I hope, take care when you. I failed to ask Liliana where exactly was she. Anyway, doesn't really matter, but yeah, hope she comes back later. So another secret is actually getting feedback, or trying to look for feedback from customers. So right. I did using WeLink. What's interesting, what happened to me is I obviously tried monitoring burgers because I love burgers and stuff. And what happened is when I was looking at the grid and all the posts that had burgers in a certain location, obviously in Auckland City, what's interesting is that even without the keywords, it popped up.
Okay.
And let's say McDonald's, sorry, but there was this one particular tweet I saw that had a picture of a burger, saying, there's a top bun and the bottom bun, right? So what happened is this person actually Instagrammed and tweeted both the picture and said, fail, because it was missing a top bun. So it was the bottom and a bottom. Yeah, exactly. And though she did not mention the brand, but right. It was pretty obvious with the picture and stuff. So these are gold. I call them like gold nuggets when you're doing listening or monitoring. I mean, you wouldn't really know all the keywords out there. And because of that tool, you'd actually find some gold hidden nuggets, so to speak, and see, oh my God, I didn't know. So in terms of engagement, if I was, say, McDonald's, then I would then engage and say, hey, I'm sorry, if you're still near the area, by the way, why not come back and let us change the burger? And that actually results to great customer service.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's one secret of actually doing social media monitoring or listening. Any thoughts to add on that? Any experience?
No, I think you're 100% right. No mention of the brand. That's what I preach, right? I tell you, like, every time there's a complaint, that doesn't mean that person's going to mention your brand. That's the benefit of location monitoring, right? So we have the ability to understand if they're saying something about you at your location without mentioning you. McDonald's is a tough one. They're going through, a lot right now. There are even talks, like, I read something the other day, they were going to really pull back in California, like cut like their locations in half, but now they're doing all day breakfast and their earnings are through the roof for the year. Just because that, they can attribute this to hot cakes and having them all day. So I think it's a really interesting tip. It's a good segue into my next tip, which is going to be becoming a problem solver for your customers. But I want to, Coach Jenny's asked a question here on what are the tips for maximizing live stream content, which is like a great question because I don't have the answer. This is my first Blab ever. This Periscope, this Meerkat, this live streaming stuff is awesome. And like coming from like a biz dev guy, like, a startup guy, I look at all this stuff and I'm like, I want to figure out how to use this. I want to make use of this. I keep telling my higher ups, like my C-levels, I'm saying, guys, like eventually we're going to start doing all of this stuff. Thankfully, Jam just gave me like the push I needed to just like, well, stop saying you're going to do it and just do it and get started. And that's why we're here. But, Jam, do you have any tips for, maximizing live stream content?
And Jenny, it's a shove. See? So no, okay. Well, again, I'm not really an expert on live stream and stuff. I rarely do it. And I've because of that shove as well and the push within me. That's why I'm doing this Blab thing in the SocialJam. But tips for maximizing live stream content. I would think, I don't want to say repurposing content and stuff. I mean, content for me is all about, I'm a marketer, so I would actually use those to educate your market. So say, for example, this one, not a lot of people actually know, and I don't know if we've mentioned, I think we haven't even mentioned it, is location-based social media monitoring. So and I know it's a mouthful, but this is one of the reasons we want to do this is because we want to educate people, because they're like, location-based what? and a lot of people think that it's location-based marketing, but it's a part, you know what I mean? So that's what I think, one of the tips to maximize live stream content.
Location promotion?
No, I mean, no, it's more of educating people on what they don't know.
Right. Yeah.
So I just, used WeLink, for example, like location-based social media monitoring. I mean, here in New Zealand, they just don't know what it is. They're not so sure. So this is for live stream, at least with them coming in and asking you questions, and it's very engaging, etc. Then it gives them that aha moment, hopefully. And that's pretty much. Hey, Melissa is actually, I don't know if I answered that question, Jenny. Hope I did. And I was trying to find that little question box over at the left. Do you see it, Karen? I just see your Twitter.
It's weird. It's not scrolling down, but that question is a great question. Melissa, I might put you in the hot seat here. I know you probably have the answer to it. Melissa's, a social media thought leader, and she's been doing a lot of testing with the live streaming stuff. So Melissa, would you want to jump in and kind of talk about how we can have some tips for maximizing live stream content?
Yep. And thank you. Jenny just taught me how to switch to the questions in Twitter box on the left. That's awesome.
Oh, nice.
What are you just? Oh, perfect. Cool.
Mel, what do you think?
So, Melissa?
If not, we'll bounce over to the next step or the next secret. And if she does feel she wants to jump in, she can go ahead and do so.
Yeah, cool.
Excellent. So my next step is I believe that businesses need to be problem solvers for their customers. And this can kind of go back to what Jam was saying with this McDonald's example, right, where somebody had this issue with their hamburger. What they're looking for when they post that is sure, they're trying to get a few laughs with their following, saying, hey, look at this crappy burger that I got and this terrible experience I had. It's almost laughable. Let's laugh at it. But I believe what they're looking for is they're looking for a hero, right? They're looking for a brand to come in real time with smooth and just clean engagement. I'm sorry you've had this issue. Blah, 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 blah. Go to this link right here, fill out this survey, and a $50 gift card will be mailed to your house within the week. And one company that's doing this, I think the best out of anybody is Starbucks. If you post something from one of their locations or you mention the word Starbucks in a negative context, you're going to receive a message within seconds, under 30 seconds with somebody saying, hey, what's happened? And they're going to want to know exactly. I know because I'm the kind of guy that if I'm frustrated enough, I'll send a tweet out and try and get the brand's attention. And it's happened, right? They respond back. They come to you and they're like, hey, what's going on? Fill out this survey, get a free gift card. They're really coming in and trying to solve the problem. And I think that that's a big thing that consumers need of their brands. And it can be done with, social media, and that's what this is all about, the secrets to social media monitoring and engagement. And I think that the secret to monitoring it has to be in real time, and engagement has to be in real time too, right? So being able to understand what your customers are saying in real time and coming in and engaging and being a hero.
Exactly. No, totally agree. It's very, very powerful. I think that's one of what I love about the tool is it's doing that. I mean, I do it manually before. Of course, it's very hard. And yes, I'm using other tools to monitor and stuff. But the real time is, I guess, key to it. And I love it. And I've tried it myself. And it will probably segue to the next secret. But I was just monitoring. I think it was a brand here. It's called Mustache or something. It's a milkshake shop. It's very small, but God, I love people here love it so much. Anyway, long story short.
Sorry to interrupt you, but so I'm an Aussie and I grew up in Australia. And one thing about Australia and New Zealand is they love their like chocolate milk products and like, iced coffee. Like there's iced coffee in bottles like everywhere. Like in the States, we don't like Starbucks has just done that, like a Frappuccino in a bottle, but that's brand new. In Australia, it's all over the place. But continue, chocolate milk, yes.
Yep. Well, New Zealand milk, obviously, because it's cows and yeah. Anyway, no.
You guys don't have too many of those, do you?
Yeah, I still see them around. Hopefully, other than sheep, of course. But yeah. So as I was just looking through the stream and stuff, and I said, "Ooh, love that chocolate milkshake or whatever it is." I totally forgot what it was exactly, but I started engaging with that customer and just say, "Hey, you know what? Total stranger whatsoever," and say, "Look, what's your favorite flavors over there? Because I haven't tried it," and all that. And he was very willing, in real time as well, and saying, "Hey, you should try this, this, and this, and this." Wow. And then I just had a thought, and it was an experiment for me. It's like, oh, you know what? I then started to tell him, what do you think of the competitor? I didn't say competitor, but another brand that competes with Mustache and all that. It's like, have you tried them? It's like, oh yeah, I've heard about them as well, blah, blah, blah. And then we started segueing to that information, which is then, if that was a client of mine, then it would be great. So anyway, I
love this idea of monitoring your competitors. It's one of the best things out there right now, because you got to think that if I'm sitting here and I'm talking negatively about my Wi-Fi provider, AT&T, what a great opportunity for Verizon to come in and say, "Hey, well, we have a promotion running, for the end of the month, we'll buy you out of a contract and come in." So I get people all the time that I'm talking to, like on a sales promotional basis, and showing them like what I do and the software that we have. And the first thing they say is like, "Well, could we monitor our competitors, like our locations?" And it's like, yeah, absolutely. This is publicly available social data. I think that's great, because isn't everybody looking for the market share that their competitors hold? Like, if you've got your existing market share, like you're just trying to get theirs. So what a great way to do it. It all boils down to real-time engagement, trying to take people from your competitors. It's great.
Now, I guess I just have to ask people in the room, obviously. I mean, what are your thoughts? Because here in New Zealand, and I guess also I'm originally from the Philippines, by the way, for those who don't know, and then moved to New Zealand. But the culture is almost the same, wherein we're kind of a little, we want to make it safe. We're kind of not sure whether we'd like to engage with clients of our competitors. It just doesn't feel right, or it's So to the room, and you can jump in, guys. There are 2 seats are available here if you want to join in. What are your thoughts on? I'm going through not just monitoring, because it's pretty passive in a way, but now in real time, probably engaging. What I did as an example. Do you feel comfortable with it? Would you do that perhaps? Because you're taking away kind of, as Kieran said, a piece of a market sort of, even if it's just 1-on-1 or 5. Right. Any thoughts on it, guys?
Somebody's going to jump in. And to even like further your question, right? Like, is this correct? As a consumer, how are you going to feel looking at a brand commenting on my post, trying to take my business from their competitor? Like, if you were to just see this on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, what are you guys going to think? Are we going to think like this is bad business practice, or are we going to think blood boils? Yeah. Or are we going to think that, hey, they're making use of all of their resources? Like, please do it. It's all publicly available information. You should try and do this. What do you guys think?
Yep.
Nope.
No. The bad
move. No, I think you're right. And the other scenario is like, I'm talking about the scenario where they're actively engaging and they're trying to like, monetize that social conversation. But there's also the scenario where you can do this passively, right? Where I may not actively be saying, hey, move over to us. Right. There's no need to do that. We'll just leave it at that.
Okay, no, that's awesome. It's
Yeah, I'm trying to justify it.
I kind of want to understand the question better, Cherry. So just for Cherry, so we were kind of talking about one secret wherein I kind of segued into it in monitoring, wherein I was talking to someone like a milkshake shop here in New Zealand. And then while I was asking for feedback, like favorite flavors, etc., I moved into say, hey, what do you think of competitor? And then I got feedback and stuff. So as an example, if that competitor was my client, then that's actually valuable data for me to give to the client. The question now is, are you comfortable actually engaging with them and trying to sway them to say, hey, why don't you visit, I don't know, competitor blah milkshake shop, which is just in Queen Street, just a few, you're around the area. Are you comfortable with that? Would you do that or not? So Jenny, please jump in it because she's like, there's no need to do that. Provide value, connect with people, and people will gravitate toward you. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think that's right. And that'll boil back down to like the fundamental rules of engagement, right? Like you have to bring value with your engagement. You have to help people, like, and that goes back to being helpful and being a problem solver. That might not be, I think being a problem solver is different to saying, hey, well, you could just start working with us and you won't have to deal with these kind of issues. But yeah.
Cool. Anyone else? Barry's coming in. Cool.
Well, I just finished a project and I said, well, let me go on Blab and see what's going on. I stumbled in here. And if I'm understanding the question correctly, I think there's a way to respond to the issue in terms of, Kieran? Am I saying your name correctly?
Kieran, like
Kieran. Okay, Kieran. Okay, like Kieran was saying, in terms of solving a problem, and you can euphemistically say, well, have you tried this in terms of trying to get them to correct the problem, or have you tried that? And if all else fails, then there are other vendors out there who will be able to, I'm sure, solve your problem. I say putting it sort of like that because at some point, if you steered the person toward your client, at some point they're going to find out. And even if the relationship turns out to be wonderful, that there's always going to be, in my mind, a bit of doubt in terms of, was your suggestion legitimate, or was there something else that you hope to get out of it? That's just my thinking, because again, I wouldn't do any more than I would do with anybody else that I met on the street to basically say, well, what have you done to solve the problem? Have you thought about thus and so? Or these are some of the other things that you can do. And then if you're not able to solve it, then you might want to think about other vendors. And if you reach that point, I might be able to give you some suggestions. So now you seem legitimate, okay? And that there, in my mind, there's no ulterior motive.
No, I agree with you. Yeah.
Well, you had this quizzical look on your face.
I'm reading Melissa's question here. Melissa and I but I'm also but I'm relating this to your point, listening to what your audience is saying. And Melissa and I talk about this stuff every day. But Melissa, think about this, so the brand's got an opportunity to listen effectively to what the complaint is, but then I get it. Sorry, I'll just keep rambling.
Yeah, if I'm understanding the situation, because like I said, I came in sort of in the middle where and it sounds like someone was voicing a complaint or saying they've had a problem and blah, blah, blah. And one of your clients handles that type of situation or provides those services. The thing to also keep in mind, in addition to you having clients, you have a brand and you have a reputation. It's sort of like, and this is off the subject, but actually on, it's almost like dating a married man. It's almost like dating a married
Interesting analogy there.
Yeah, that's why I said it's off the subject, but actually on. You date a married man, he divorces his wife, and then marries you, and you expect him to be faithful to you. Same sort of situation from the standpoint that once that doubt is created regarding your brand, that it never goes away. It may rise or fall, but it's always going to be there because, and especially on social media, because you've done it in front of a large audience.
Right.
And depending on the platform, you may not get feedback in terms of how people are perceiving it. They may just say, yeah, I saw that and I didn't feel good about it, but never say anything to you. And all it takes is one person with a megaphone to sort of spread the message, and then you're no longer a brand, but a prostitute. I'm glad I made your day.
That's awesome.
Good.
Props. There you go.
But am I right? Am I right?
You are. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's a fine line to walk. But and that's the point that you always have to sort of be aware of in social media. And I think a lot of people forget. It's not like I'm just talking to you two. I'm talking to you two, all the people, or should I say all the people over in the comments, and anybody else who may watch the replay, and yes, you are recording, who may watch the replay. So anything you say sort of, or any action you perform takes on a life of its own.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I think you're 100% right.
Oh, well, thank you. I have to tell my boyfriend that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to come on and say that my little bit and get back in the peanut gallery. Get back in the peanut gallery. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in, Cherry. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I know, and my analogies were so inappropriate.
No, it's actually, I couldn't have thought of it, but it's actually spun on. I think about it. All right, that's
Okay.
Interesting.
No
So
dating married men.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. No, but that's awesome. So just for those who just entered the room and just joined us, so we were just discussing whether, I don't know if you can, I don't know if I can articulate this properly, but what would you feel, or what are your thoughts on when you are starting to engage publicly, obviously like Twitter or Instagram, with as a competitor or on behalf of a competitor of a brand? I mean, would you try to lure them to your camp? So it's like, yeah, so it's like not really a prostitute, but someone trying to lure a married man. I guess that's how Cherry wants to say.
Luring is like one thing, but like I almost brought it up earlier. I'm just going to do it. Like there are other ways to do this, right? You can just sit back and look at the data. Like a Pizza Hut might want to monitor a Domino's because they're waiting for somebody to find a finger in their Domino's pizza, and now they've got the worst piece of social PR ever, and they can do what they want with it, right? It's publicly available social data. So I've heard that come up too. They're like, we're looking for negative things being said about that business on their property so we can use it against them.
Oh, wow.
And then the other thing is like automated ads, right? So, everybody's got access to these ad platforms. This is the more discreet way to engage somebody. So instead of saying, hey, I want to take your business, take that handle, take that username, throw it into an ad platform, put an ad spend against that. Now all of a sudden they're going to be receiving these ads on the side with your special promotion or whatever that may be.
That's good. Yep. That's a good example. I was hoping, is Missy still here?
I've been trying to get her to jump in. She's shy, but she's been messaging.
Okay.
So join us.
Totally can't go that route, Kieran. Just for you. Okay.
Okay. Fair enough. I think it makes sense.
Cool. Hey, Greg, thanks for joining us. Okay, are we ready for the next secret then?
Is this my turn?
I don't remember anymore. Yeah, just go for it.
I keep talking about having the right solution, and I think that is just like of paramount importance. Like you have to have the correct solution in place so that you can look at the insights you're collecting off of social and then make decisions off of that data. So my point will kind of boil back down into the right solution again, but I want to stay away from it, and I want to focus on little features within a solution. Everybody has their favorite social media monitoring solution. I think that it is really, really important that sentiment is being analyzed. Not everybody has time to sit on a dashboard all day and look at every person that's mentioned your brand and say, hey, is this positive, negative, or neutral? It has to be automated to some fashion, right? So the sentiment analysis is crucial. Being able to understand when posts are negative, positive, or neutral. And one thing we do at WeLink, which is cool, and we've been working on it, is developing our system so it can understand more complex emotions, things like buying intent, violence, depression. So really quickly, we would be able to understand like, hey, well, this person not only is saying something negative at the Starbucks, but they're violent. So this could then, or we do things with schools too, being able to monitor schools. All of a sudden, somebody's saying something violent on campus, like in the States right now, that's just a nightmare. Right away, that's got to get the appropriate people's attention. So the right solution, sentiment analysis, but then it's real-time alerts. Goes back to nobody having time to sit here and wait all day for actionable data. You need to have alerts, whether it's through an app or...
Okay.
Sorry. So there's there's apps, for like software that you can get alerts through that, or through email or text message alerts. And that's what we do. So you can be alerted in real time based on like every activity. You could be alerted based on keywords, or you could be alerted based on like a sentiment. So I just think that that's crucial, being alerted in real time on the criteria that's most important to you. Melissa, what's that phase for?
I'm trying to... to that point, your face. Okay. Yeah, and just for those who are in the room who might, and please, just stop me if I'm wrong here, but if you don't know maybe Karen, what is sentiments? Because we understand what that is probably, and maybe you can just elaborate what that means. Negative, positive, what is it?
So we call it sentiment analysis, but essentially what it is it's natural language processing. So like there are a couple of different ways natural language processing works. It can be like based on syntax or context. We do a little bit of both. And you look at the text within a post or the image, if you have image analysis, and you're saying, is this positive, is this negative, or is this neutral? So, if I'm going to say, hey, my lunch was awful, obviously this is a negative post. But the reason why I brought up that example is this is not perfected technology, because computers are dumb at the end of the day. They really are, and they don't understand complex English or just like the little things. So I could say, hey, my lunch was, and part of my language, my lunch was the shit. That's going to be marked negative, or like my lunch was the bomb. It'll be marked negative. So sentiment analysis is basically natural language processing that's classifying posts into a category, enabling you to act more efficiently. and things like that. It's not perfected. Anybody that tells you it is perfected, it's not. There are thousands of providers out there that have their own take on sentiment analysis. It's about finding the right one. A lot of these social monitoring solutions these days have them embedded, and I think that's an important element of social media software.
No, that's great. Cool. Thanks for explaining that to the audience. And for those, because this is being recorded, so obviously we're going to embed this in our own blogs and stuff or sites. And for those who are watching the replay, so yeah, at least you know more about sentiment analysis and stuff. And hey, my thoughts on that is, even the human beings, meaning psychologists, psychiatrists and stuff, trying to learn emotions, the way we speak. What do you call them? Linguists? Oh, come on, help me out here.
I don't even I'm being recorded. I don't need that record.
Well, anyway, but whole point is, I mean, I totally agree that yes, there's the technology out there and stuff, and even us human beings, we can't even kind of decipher what's negative and positive. So anyway, that's just my little 2 cents. Just to check on the time, because I know we're running probably 4 or 5 minutes till like an hour. I do have one more secret. Do you want to oh, awesome. Yay. Melissa's joining.
I think we're actually, because we started 15 minutes early, we're actually scheduled to go to 4 Pacific time. But yeah, we'll just kind of keep it rolling. We'll see how it goes. Mel, how are you?
I just notified 110 of my followers that I'm on here, so we might have some people coming.
Awesome. That's perfect.
I just wanted to jump in the last 5 minutes to be that person.
Excellent. Good. You can make us stay through the whole hour.
Great. So far you guys have been doing wonderful. You know everything that I would say to people about growing your brand and social listening and types of tools. Have you dabbled on free tools for people to use if they don't have the resources?
No, we have not. So let's
go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm Melissa. I'm in Detroit. I'm a social media agency, DI Designs. I'm actually on my way out soon. It was my birthday this past weekend, and we're going to do a little birthday get together. But really quickly, social media listening tools, some free ones, I'd say. When you're doing a tweet chat or a blab chat, if it's associated with a hashtag, I would use Twas Up. It's the fastest real-time hashtag. It's all staggered together, so you can just reply to people really quickly. Topsy, things like that. Tagboard is one of my favorites to use. You can get 5 social media networks: Facebook, Twitter, Google+. There's a couple other ones. You type in a hashtag. You can sync all of your networks to it and respond to people with one browser. It's mostly used for small business, but you can't do any filters. You can't do any of the negative or positive keywords. So everything that you get is there. So it's not really customized, but it still works. It's great if you're on a budget and not able to do many things. But also there's another one called Ground Signal. It's a geolocation, but it's still not real time. You're limited to so many platforms that you can connect to. And I think that they're also limiting you to how many people you can comment. They after 20 or so comments on people's posts, that's all you can do for the day. So that one's also limited, but it still works.
Now, Ground Signal is great. I know they have that free. Now there's 2 there's 2 location-based monitoring solutions that give you the ability to test it out for free. You said Ground Signal. I know another one is EchoSec, which also gives you a freemium. So maybe you should check that out and look at how that works. See if you can do engagement through there. I'm not sure. A lot of them are limited, right? Because you can get data for free by pinging an API, a free API, and that's how people are doing it. And that's how you get not real-time data. When you want that real-time data, that's when you have to start paying a data provider to get that information. Because Twitter's they're in the business of making money, right? Why give everything away with your free open API when you can be charging $10K a month to have a full data set from them?
I like TweetDeck because you can set up different streams. That's nice for people if they just want you to give them everything. Get them a TweetDeck account. Yeah. Hootsuite, I'm not so sure about. They have this little tool. I'm sure you know much more than I do. You type in the parameters, longitude, whatever.
Yep.
I don't really know what I'm doing on there.
It's called UV, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really confusing.
Tell us, Jen.
Yeah, well, there is, I guess, and that's why I'm also in WeLink, because in terms of monitoring for Hootsuite, and if you want to focus on a location, you do have to go to Google Maps and then get the longitude and latitude, those numbers, and then put it on the search bar and then with the keywords as well. So yeah, you've got the and or the Boolean, whatever examples, and put it in there. And that's when it's going to create a stream for you with the results. So it's a little bit cumbersome actually. And even though I am a Hootsuite ambassador, that is, I'll be, honest here, it's one of the features that I'm not too, confident enough, or I don't really like that portion. Maybe something that they could do and improve. Yeah.
Oops.
So it sounds like that, because I haven't played with this like UV portion, and I'm probably not allowed to, conflict of interest or whatever. So it sounds like to get that data, you actually create the query yourself in text and you put it into UV and then it sends you the data. Is that correct?
Sorry, I was just saying hi and hey, Nazar. You were asking whether you want, so there's this portion at, so there's the search, the magnifying glass, right? And then there is a pop-up that will ask you what your parameters are. You're right, yeah. Hi, Nazar, thanks for joining us.
Hi.
And then if you want to, all good, we're good. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, I listen to you.
Okay. Sorry, just.
And the reason why I asked, Jan, is because I'm just wasn't sure if all the work's done on their end. They just haven't automated how the query boils down, and then they just need you to send the query off. That's why I asked, because that was a little bit confusing. But I think
it's a little bit it's again a cumbersome because it's not automatic. It's not easy. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. It's not easy. Only if you want to be focused on a location. But everything else obviously is okay. It's great for keywords, hashtags, and stuff. Perfect. But yeah. And then you just get the stream obviously for your based on the parameters. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
Hey, Nazar.
Are you using any social media listening tools?
Yes, I use social media, but first of all, I don't speak very well in English. I use all social media, like this website and other. And about hashtag, I use hashtag.
Hashtags. Yep.
Hashtags, yes.
Which is
so,
hashtags are great.
What's it?
Oh, I was going to say that's a whole nother tip that I had. So I had a bunch of tips or secrets that I was going to lay out. And one of them is the most basic thing. And it's leveraging hashtags, how to do that and still make use of them, because I think it's something that people just kind of will overlook. But it's still crucial. Mel, you do a great job of utilizing hashtags. I see it all the time. And then one thing that this will kind of segue me into another tip here is I think it's important for business to understand, especially a local business. It's important to understand what local hashtags are trending, and how you can then leverage those. I'd all fall back on the solution that you're using, but being able to understand what hashtags are being used around you and how can you piggyback on those. Friends on that. But Melissa's just got everything. Whatever you need, she's got a solution.
That's why I'm here. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, I like that you can Google hashtags. I love this because then you can see a live feed of what was recently tweeted. I do that all the time, every single day. I'm always Googling hashtags. The first 10% of the Google page is usually the hashtag live feed. If there is, it aggregates to past posts.
Okay, this is awesome.
Yes, hashtag is used for develop number of view this some article to view from large of people.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, I'm now looking at Trends Map. Obviously, used this once, but it's yeah. This is an awesome tool. Thanks for thanks for reminding me that yeah, because it's so many tools out there I've been trying out, and the next thing you know, you're not using it, and then yeah. Of course, I'm looking at New Zealand right now, so
right.
Well,
oh, this is interesting. I love these tools that have this like model where you can try it out for free and you can just easily upgrade yourself. I'd love to see us do something similar in the future.
I think it's important to remember when you're using hashtags to grow your network to do things that are relevant to who you are or who you want to surround yourself. Like, for example, I use top hashtags on my Instagram. So I see what's trending. It changes every day. So I look for people that are motivated, hustlers, business people, startups. So when you're social listening with hashtags, don't just do like things that, you know, are relevant. Do things that will circle who your brand is.
Now, here's a question for you, Mel. Now, like, how does that influence the way that your post is going to perform versus when you're using a trending hashtag, maybe versus no hashtag? You know, do you see a difference in performance on like likes, comments, or impressions? How does that work?
Yeah, I can tell you, for example, I'm working with a fashionista in New York. Very high demanding. She wants engagement on every single photo. So I'm constantly looking at what's trending in the fashion industry, fashion blog, Insta fashion, things like that. So every day I have to be up on my game. And if you don't put any hashtag, we ran an ad on Instagram. We didn't have a hashtag associated to it, so it didn't perform very well. So then we did like an A/B testing, the same photo, same caption with a hashtag, and I lost all my data on my phone that day. I was so mad.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it was the end of the month. It was like a couple days ago. It was the end of October.
Okay.
So.
Good.
For sure. I hope that answered your question. Use hashtags, people. Use them.
Hashtags, right.
Don't abuse them. Don't spam the hashtags.
Oh yeah. That's really annoying. I've seen there's just so many people just doing, I don't know, sometimes 2 posts and it's all just freaking hashtags so that, you know, hoping people would see their brand, and it's just extremely annoying. So yeah. So Nizar, I mean, I don't know how long you've been using hashtags, and you did say you were using them. Just that's a great tip from Melissa. So yeah. Cool. Just to segue, if you don't mind, Karen, there is another tip, is actually identifying future content. And that can be, maybe my specific example is for bloggers. If you do monitor and stuff, and yes, you know, whether it be hashtags or certain locations as well, if you're a traveler or travel blog or something, then it is actually, it's like, okay, I'm running out of ideas. Okay, what are people talking about? So now, because of monitoring and listening, then a blogger or even a marketing professional, it doesn't really matter, then you'd know exactly what content that you'd want put out there to your followers, fans, or to your consumers or clients. So that's actually a good way of, So I don't know if you guys agree, disagree.
When I'm searching for, sorry, Kieran, I'm just going to like slide right in there. Sure. When I'm searching for content to post, like based on my clients' brands, I use the Google search tools, and I don't use anything that's older than a month because they don't want that. And they want you to credit the source. They want all that good stuff and credit the author. So yeah, that does make a lot of sense. Like when I'm content curation, I try to tell my team that too. Don't just Google something and then use the one that's at the top. Use the search tools to get more specific.
Perfect. Awesome. Yep. Anything to add? Anyone else in the room?
I'll add some things since I guess I'm an influencer maybe in the space. That's what people say. So when I'm on Instagram, I've noticed a trend that when you tag a location, the reach goes farther. And not to mention if it's a busy location, other people are engaging with that photo. Like if they're, I don't know, we don't have it here in the Midwest, but a cheesecake factory, if you post something, tag the factory, other people are going to see that when they're on Instagram, and they're also checking in too. So I feel like using geolocation, hashtags, and writing something that's witty, like your personality with it, I think that's a win-win social media strategy.
Perfect. Yep. See, now I'm hungry because it's like all close to 1 o'clock. So p.m. It's like, ooh, cheesecake. That sounds really good.
We can call it shortly. One thing too, Melissa, I definitely agree with that, because like I've never really used the location part of Instagram, but within the last 2 months, for some reason, like if I'm going to go somewhere and I haven't been there before and I want to know what it's going to look like, or what an area is going to look like, things like that, I'm actually using Instagram to go on and then search for the top places and entering that place's name, and then just lurking through everybody that's been there. And not just lurking their post of when they were there, then all of a sudden going in and like lurking who they are and who goes there. So you're right.
When I'm writing blog posts or reviews, I'm like a big blogger in Detroit. I write about everything. Everybody knows that I'm there, and they make sure they're at the top quality when I'm there. I'll actually use people's Instagram photos and embed them in my blog. And then I'll tell them on their blog, like, hey, I use this in a review. Go to this website. They love that. It's just an easy way to get other people to follow you, share your blog. Like, hey, my Instagram picture was featured in Melissa's blog. Check me out, guys. They're basically your brand advocate, and you don't even have to tell them to do it. They just like it.
Flattery, it's almost flattering, right? Like, hey, I've got your photo in my blog, and flattery is the best way to get anybody's attention. I was just talking with the CEO of my company the other day about a blab that's coming up, and I told him, like, one of our clients, he left because his project ended. And I said, guess who's going to be on it with me? Like one of these clients. And we could never get a hold of this guy. Kieran, how did you get this guy to sit down with you? And how are you going to get him to do a live stream for an hour? I said, well, I wrote an email telling him how great he is and how much he knows about security and social media. And, flattery definitely gets people's attention.
Definitely.
Yeah, so definitely.
For me, I don't use Instagram. I install it in my mobile phone, and I delete. But about my location, I add my location in Facebook. If I travel, and for hashtag, I use hashtag for newspaper to share some newspaper in my profile.
Yeah, it's a good way to have your post found, right? Like if you're reading a newspaper and then you want that newspaper, that publication, you want them to find your post, tag it with their business name. Yep, absolutely. They're definitely checking, or they should be checking that.
Credit the source.
Yes, absolutely.
Credit the business.
Yeah.
Perfect. So now, Kieran, I actually kind of have to go, but you guys can continue on because we've got the next meeting Thursday afternoon, and I want to have time to kind of eat some little lunch. But up to you. And Melissa, it was nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you too.
I was hoping you could join in earlier so that.
I'm sorry. It's like an hour commute.
Okay.
So
we'll make sure that she's in the next one from start to finish.
Yeah, and I had to get ready. Girl problem.
Okay. All right. Well, are you still continuing, guys, or am I? I'm going
to do one more tip. It's going to be around carving and creating informative content, just because I know Mel is going to be able to contribute to that one. That'll probably be the last question I have. I'd love to see some other blabbers jump in and contribute if we can on the last point. But yeah, that's probably going to be it. That last one around content. That's it.
Okay, well, I'll stay on for a few minutes for the last one, and then I'll and as Missy or Melissa say, we can probably after that tip stop the recording. It's up to you, and then you guys can just hang and just continue discussing it, and I'll need to go.
And what's the hot seat? How do I open that?
Nazar's in the hot seat.
Nazar's in the hot seat. Nazar, do you mind if I open up the hot seat?
What?
The hot seat, do you mind if I open it up to other people so they can jump in and ask questions? And then you can always jump in after two of you have something to add.
Do you mind if...
add in one.
You mind...
Sorry.
I don't listen to you, Melissa.
I'm sorry, what?
Do you have a question for Melissa? Is that what you...
No, I don't understand the question of Melissa.
Could we open your seat by kicking you out so people can jump in and then you can come back?
Oh, it's okay. Okay, good night.
Come back.
Come back.
We just gotta open up this new topic and then come back. Great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Here we are. Open seat. Someone jump in. Last
This
tip.
is the last topic. So, guys, for everybody that's new, we've had some new people join. We're talking about social media tips to unlock like engagement and then also we're talking about tools on how to monitor social media. My last tip is carving and creating informative content for your customers. Writing useless content is just, you're wasting your time and you're going to waste your customers' time. I think that content, especially in a B2B setting, has to be useful and informative. One of the best companies, I use them all the time. You should check out Sales Loft. If you're a sales guy or a biz dev guy, you'll love this stuff. They do an amazing job of their content marketing because you could build a sales team off of the information and the content they've published right there on their site. Everything from sales playbooks to how to build a sales team to how to hire people. So I just think that carving informative content is going to be the best way to get your customers' attention. I'm talking about a B2B setting here, but I also believe that it'll apply in a B2B or D2C setting.
Awesome. That's a great tip. And I think you have Stephen coming in. So, yep. Cool. Well, thanks, Kieran, for this opportunity to co-host your first blab. Yay! Congratulations.
No problem.
Everyone and stuff. And again, it was nice meeting you, Melissa, so I have to hop off. And cool. And then just let me know, Kieran, so I can embed the recording, obviously, on our blogs and stuff. And then hopefully we can have I'm actually in another blab in a moment. Okay. All right. See you guys. Bye.
Okay, sounds good. Bye. All right, guys. Does anybody want to jump in and talk about this? Sorry, Melissa, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, to piggyback off of what you're saying, also creating the content too. When I'm setting up an editorial calendar, I'll use a lot of different resources, but I'll also every now and then create custom content. You are an addict. That's hilarious that you're in 2 labs right now. Can you just jump in on this one on your mobile phone? Just jump in. You can stop the recording if you want, but it's up to you.
That's funny.